Welcome back to Historical Veracity, where we peel back the layers of science's pristine image to reveal the chaotic yet fascinating underbelly of scientific discovery. Today, we're diving into the white lie of science, a concept brilliantly dissected by Prof. Itai Yanai and Dr. Tsarfaty in their eye-opening piece. The White Lie of Science, published in Odysseus in October 2012. Let's start with a bombshell statement by Peter Medawar, who boldly claimed that the scientific paper is a fraud, emphasis on the paper. Yanai and Tsarfaty exposed the stark contrast between the idealized method of scientific inquiry and the messy reality of how research unfolds and is presented. In the world of science, it's widely accepted that a scientist conjures up a hypothesis about nature's workings and then spends years in the lab testing this hypothesis. This hypothesis-based science turns scientists into hunters, actively pursuing confirmation or refutation of a specific conjecture. Imagine a student crafting a paper on their discovery, detailing all previous failed experiments and dead ends, only for their advisor to crumple up the draft, stressing that academic papers must lie. The real process, the advisor explains, involves working backward from the results the student wishes to present, then formulating the research question that should have been posed had those results been known from the start. This misleading portrayal of discovery is a widespread practice, though it skirts the truth of the scientific journey. Contrary to popular belief, the hypothesis rarely initiates the research process. More often it builds upon preliminary findings, an inconvenient truth that doesn't fit the tidy narrative preferred by many, including Nobel laureate geneticist François Jacob, who suggested replacing the actual sequence of discoveries with a more logical, if not entirely truthful order. Despite the lack of formal studies on the prevalence of this idealized research process, personal experiences, peer discussions, and testimonies from notable scientists like Jacob and Medawar indicate it's a common phenomenon. Most scientists don't view this practice as deceitful, but as a necessary adaptation to the publication demands of scientific research, believing that science advances through hypothesis testing, despite historical evidence to the contrary. Research costs money. To fund their work, scientists apply for grants, often structured around the classic hypothesis and its testing format, presupposing that research not grounded in a preliminary hypothesis is unworthy of funding. This catch-22 necessitates initial data collection, which is almost deceptively funded by previous grants, highlighting the growing costs and complexity of data gathering in today's advanced technological landscape. Alejandro Sanchez Alvarado voices a poignant critique, observing that grants favor hunters over true researchers, promoting research proposals that tell a good story but are founded on deceit. This perpetuates a misleading public image of science as a linear, rational process, when in reality, the formation of hypotheses from data resembles art more than the systematic method portrayed in textbooks and scientific papers. Susan Moyle and Anna Wilson raise similar concerns, echoing Medawar's criticism of the orthodox scientific narrative as a tragically flawed representation of scientific thought. This misconception extends to undergraduate education, perpetuating stereotypes of scientists as purely logical beings and misrepresenting the nature of scientific inquiry. Case in point, the discovery of DNA's double helix by James Watson and Francis Crick. While textbooks and articles praise the elegance of their models, Watson's own account reveals critical errors made along the way, underscoring the messy reality of scientific discovery. Michael Shermer in Scientific American contrasts the narrative of explanation, a tidy, linear account of scientific process, with the narrative of discovery, which acknowledges the chaotic, serendipitous nature of scientific breakthroughs. This distinction highlights the gap between the public's perception of science and the actual, often unpredictable path of discovery. So, what's the takeaway? Science, much like life, is messy, unpredictable, and inherently human. It's a tale of perseverance, intuition, and sometimes sheer luck. Here at Historical Veracity, we celebrate the unvarnished truth behind scientific progress, reminding everyone that the road to discovery is rarely as clean and straight as the final paper might suggest. Until next time, stay curious and question everything.